Hi everyone, this is Angelica. Thank you so much for watching today. This video is going to be about self-love. Now, I know I've already made a video about self-love, but this was requested, and it's just a good idea to go over this information again because it's one of the most important aspects of a spiritual awakening. And so you will realize when you start out in the beginning phases of your spiritual awakening that you maybe while going through, all the things that happen, all the, thoughts that you have and the emotions that you have, you start to realize that you possibly may have not loved yourself or given yourself the love or the nurturing that you've needed throughout the years. Now, this doesn't become evident to you. You don't realize that you've done this until you've started going through a spiritual awakening. Because one of the first things that you're going to be asked to do is to find out how to love yourself more. Okay? Now, there's lots of ways to go about loving yourself. And I can only speak about my ways, how I became more loving to myself and how I've grown in love for myself over these years. And it has been a long journey, and as the years go by, I love myself more and more and more because I'm realizing if I don't love myself, then I can't love anyone else, and I can't be a benefit to anyone else or help anyone else. I mean, there was a point in my life before this started happening to me that I just wanted so much to love everybody else and do stuff for everyone else because I'm very much like a caretaker and a person that just wants to help. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's why I want to help this earth move into the shift that's taking place. So, but what I wasn't doing is, even though I was loving everyone else, I was putting myself second, and I was doing too much for others. But it was almost a distraction and a way to where that I didn't have to look at what was going on within myself. Okay. And we do this to, maybe we're not ready yet to really look within and really change some of the things that we need to change, like take an honest look about, ourselves and like, oh, maybe I've done these things wrong in the past and these things need to be shifted, or maybe I could try to do things this way or whatever. I mean, these are painful realizations that we come to when we start going through a spiritual awakening. So, when we start coming to these realizations, the need for self-love becomes so great because we have to put ourselves first and know that the only healing that can be done out there has to be within us first. So we cannot be unhealed within our own being and think that the world is going to change and the things out there are going to change, because they're not. The only thing that's going to happen is healing ourselves within and loving ourselves more is going to create a lot of people who love themselves fully and who give from a place of already being completely loved within themselves. Okay. And this is what's going to heal the world. This is the way to true, progress on the planet. So I'll tell you how I started loving myself, because obviously I can only speak from my experience and I can't, tell people what to do when I haven't tried it myself. So I never do that. If I tell you guys some kind of information, it's information that I've already worked out and tried on myself before I tell you about it, because I can't speak from a place of not experiencing it. So what I started doing first is I started taking care of my physical body. because when I first started going through my spiritual awakening, I knew that there was other, I knew there was other things going on out there, but what you can't see with your eyes is kind of hard to determine because it's just more abstract and you don't exactly know, what you're dealing with. So obviously we have the emotional body, we have the etheric body, we've got all these other bodies that are there, but we can't see. So obviously in loving yourself, you're cleansing through all these bodies to purify them, to make them the purest form of that they can be, so that there's no distractions or there's no things within your bodies that are preventing your true radiant loving self to shine through. So when I first started on my spiritual path, I first started working with my physical body because I can see that. And I can see the progress that I'm making with that. And when I started working with my physical body, I started to notice that my emotional body started to heal. As I started cleansing, now I went on a lot of different cleanses, like fasts, and then I, in the very, very beginning, I think I still ate a little bit of meat somewhat over 10 years ago. I can't even really remember. I didn't eat much, but then I took out meat from my diet, and then I went along and did some other things, and then took out dairy. And then, it's a slow process. And so with the physical body, I started to cleanse my physical body. Then I started doing more fasts, and now I eat fruits and vegetables, and that's all I eat. So you get further and further along in your healing journey. And then through that, I noticed when I would cleanse my body, I would cleanse my emotions. And as my emotions cleansed, my spiritual self started to shine more greatly through my actual physical body. So, and as you can tell, most raw vegans, that you look in their eyes and they're real shiny, like they have a lot of light coming out, because that's from the fruits and vegetables, because your body's clean. Now that's very self-loving. It's very, you're loving yourself when you're giving yourself nutrients and vitamins as your body needs, when you're cleansing out the bad things in your body, okay? That's self-love. And I started realizing, oh, well, I love myself and I really want to feel good and I want to, help others. My whole thing was always, how can I help others by treating myself and loving myself better? So that for me worked. I don't know if that will work for you. And then, exercising daily, no matter what, even if you don't feel like it, make yourself go out and walk for a few miles. And if you've already been walking a few miles, then walk an extra mile the next time you go for a few months, and keep always, making new goals, striving to become a better person all the time. Because really there's no limit to it. You should always be trying to replace the current habits that you have that aren't good for you or nurturing for you or your soul, and replacing them with good habits until they're all replaced with good habits. Okay, so just taking really good care of your physical body, not ingesting things that are going to harm you, things that may prevent you from really being able to feel from your heart and be centered in the here and the now. So instead of blocking off your feelings and emotions with substances or with food, just really being with yourself and feeling yourself. Even if you don't feel good, that's okay. That's part of it. That's part of self-love. You love yourself and you love every single thing that you're going through. If you're going through an emotional time, if you're not feeling good, that is beautiful and that is wonderful. And you embrace that and you really allow yourself to feel those feelings, because those are an important part of this whole process. And this is how we learn to love ourselves, by doing the wrong things first and learning how not to love ourselves, and then really finding out how to love ourselves through these challenges or these things that we've done that haven't always been to our best, interest or for our highest good. So I started healing my physical body, and through healing my physical body, the rest changed. Now I know how to access the other areas, the other bodies, because they're all conjoined, they're all harmonized with each other. But I still like to focus on the physical. For me, I think being a person that can be very more spiritual in nature and emotional in nature, I think by me concentrating on my physical body, that kind of grounds me, and I really like that. So that really helps all the other things kind of fall into place. I also would just constantly look within, and I'd constantly want to have my time to myself. And when you're in a spiritual process, having time to yourself is really important, because that's when you connect again to spirit. That's when you cleanse your body and your mind and your all these bodies. You cleanse these things and you connect to spirit. That recharges you. It's like food, but it's spiritual energy. It's really wonderful. So cut the things out of your life that no longer benefit you. If you're working at a job that you don't like, start figuring out ways to get yourself out of it. And the universe will guide you to that. This is a very loving universe. Obviously, we have issues here on the earth that are not quite harmonizing with that beautiful spiritual flow. And that is just incorrect patterning and people not loving themselves. And it's, it's creating problems with everybody. So anyway, loving yourself first will help the whole world and everything going on within it. So take time to yourself, do things that you enjoy. If you're feeling like you're getting low energy, then take time to do the things that you love, because you are the most important. You only have control over you. You don't have control over anything else. You have to make sure that you feel good every single day and that you're happy and that you're loving, so that you can have an effect on everything else. And even if that's just by being really happy yourself, that's all that's needed. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you would like to schedule a spiritual guidance session with me, please go below the video. That is where my website is, and you can find it through that. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.